or welcome back to my channel, Stitch and Style by me, Nadia, and today I've got some recent makes to share with you. I know I said in my last Vlogmas, if you watched my Vlogmas, that I was going to do my make 9, but I've not really had a chance to think about my make 9 yet for 2024. I do have a few ideas brewing for that, but I've not made any plans yet, and I have been very busy making things. So I've got quite a few things to show you, and some of them are along the same theme. And so I thought I would record this vlog today before I make anything else and get totally overwhelmed with the number of things that I've got to show you. So I thought I would do a little bit of an update and a little bit of a catch up. It feels like it's been forever since I've recorded a video. I think that's because I had Vlogmas and then I was pleased of the break, and then I sprained my ankle a week and a half ago. So I've not been doing much. Not really been out of the house much actually, because I seem to only be going out of the house to exercise, and I've not been able to cycle to work either. So I've been working at home and I find it very, very boring, to be honest. It's given me plenty of time to do some sewing and I have been very busy. But before I go on to my first makes, let me share with you what I'm wearing today. This is the Vogue dress that I made for the dressmaker's ball. And this is the one that I made after the dressmaker's ball because I really wanted more of a daytime dress to wear. And yeah, it's the Vogue dress, but it doesn't have the buttons all the way down the front. I've cut the waistband on the fold, so that's just on the fold. I've just got the buttons here. It's slip stitched together, so that's not going to come apart. And then I've just put the gathered skirt on the bottom. And it does sit above the natural waist. I was wearing this black little cardigan thing and a pair of boots and my heather blazer on the top. So I'll pop in a photo of my full outfit today. I decided to put some jewellery on, match it up, got like pearl jewellery and some silver hoops and even a little bit of makeup today. I've been out today to my brother's girlfriend's baby shower. We're really excited about the new arrival in the family, and it was nice for my mum and all my siblings to be there. My brother made a late on appearance. He's recently had quite a traumatic injury. Yeah, he amputated the top of his finger. He's actually doing really well considering the injury. We were actually supposed to be doing a half marathon together tomorrow, but he had his injury with his finger and I sprained my ankle, and we both did that on the same day. So we're going to postpone that and we're going to do it in September. But obviously I haven't got anything to complain about compared to Joel's injury, and it was good to give him a big hug and see him. So where to start? I will start and I will show you in the order I've made things. Did I share this on my Vlogmas? I can't remember. So I made this Regalia blouse, and that's by Sew House 7, and I made it in this leftover fabric that I had from making my Davenport dress. So it's a lovely black background and flowers, and it's got this little collar. Now this material was really hard to work with, so I decided to make one in a cotton lawn. So then I made another one, which this is made with the Liberty fabric that my sister got me for my birthday, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I love this. I could tell with my viscose one, but with this one it was a little bit more so that it was a little bit tight across the back, across my shoulders. I've put on a tiny little bit of weight. I probably should have taken my measurements again, and I think I was making a size smaller than I am, and across the back was slightly tight, so I just went back and redid the shoulder seams as close to the overlocking as I could, and it's just given me that little bit more room, and it feels a lot more comfortable now I've been back in and done that little change. I think next time I'm probably just going to size up on the yoke and at the front yoke, yeah. I don't feel like I need to size up on the blouse. You've got plenty of room at the bottom. And I did slightly widen the sleeves because I think I mentioned last time that the sleeves also at the bottom, I found them a little bit tight, and it's actually a lot better. I also added a little bit of length, but I realised last time I didn't pay very close attention to the instructions, and I just hemmed the sleeve rather than add. It's actually supposed to be a sleeve cuff. Now, I've not done these cuffs very well, actually, I must admit, but I mean, it's fine from the outside, you can't really notice, but I'll show you how they're finished. It's not a very neat finish, is it, to be honest? I actually just sewed them down at the top. That's supposed to be tucked into the cuff, but don't tell anybody. And that's because I just raced ahead and I thought I don't need the instructions now. Yeah, I've become a bit of a terror for doing that, but I am pleased with how neat my collar is. I'm getting quite good at a collar, and the ties, I think that's pretty neat on both sides. And I really love this blouse, it's really nice to wear actually. So I've worn this a couple of times since I made it, and I really recommend the Regalia blouse. Before I talk about my next makes, I just wanted to come in here and just to say something about the pattern. And the pattern is the high cuff sweater top by the assembly line. So I was editing my video that I took the other day, and I realised that this pattern only goes up to a size large, which I think is a UK size 18. And I just felt really disappointed that this pattern wasn't more size inclusive, because I made the size large graded to the size medium at the waist, and for it only to go up to a size large, I think that, you know, doesn't include a lot of people. You know, I did find that very disappointing, and I think in future I am going to pay a little bit more attention before I buy a pattern as to how size inclusive it is. Obviously if I've already bought the pattern, it's a little bit too late for that. Obviously I want to be able to share it, and a lot of my viewers be able to make the same pattern. I think you could get a similar kind of look from an oversized sweater pattern, but obviously you'd have to draft the curved waistband yourself, and you know, I don't really feel like people should have to do their own drafting. I know the assembly line's size chart does go up to a 3X, which I still don't think is the most size inclusive. Maybe they are increasing the size range of their patterns, so all of them are available up to a 3X. We'll have to wait and see about that. But I did want to just mention that before I went on to talk about the makes, because it has dampened my enthusiasm somewhat of the pattern, and you know, I wanted to share that before I published the vlog. Anyway, so I'll go back to me a couple of days ago sharing my next makes. I was feeling very inspired by my sister and my friends. It's the high cuff top by the assembly line. So it's a woven top with a ribbing around the neck and ribbing along the cuff and ribbing along the waistband, and then at the waistband it goes up into like a curved shape at the back and more of a straight fit at the front. So I decided to make one of these, and this is in a material that I made a shirt for Denim, and I had some left over, had enough for this top, so I thought, oh well, give it a practice using this material. I actually really like it. Oh, I did pattern match at the sides as best as I could. You can see there they kind of line up at the sides. but I didn't bother doing any pattern matching on the sleeves. And I decided to go with a grey ribbing, and I really liked it. The only thing that I thought was, I'm not quite happy with the way this sits around my neckline. It kind of like sits a little bit up at the sides of the neckline, and I would prefer them to kind of sit a little bit flatter. So for my next version, I've changed the shape of the neckline slightly. So I did do a couple of changes. I lengthened this and I did a small bust adjustment on it because it's got a bust dart. Now I thought if it didn't have a bust dart, I probably wouldn't have bothered doing a small bust adjustment, but because of the bust dart I thought I'll do a bust adjustment with it, and I'm really happy with the fit actually. So I took off, so I did just 1/2 inch small bust adjustment because I think will have been about an A1/2 cup. I might have gone up slightly actually, more towards a B, but I think actually the bust dart sits in the right place. It points towards the apex. I did actually on the next one just raise it, it was just sitting slightly, pointing slightly below the apex, but only the tiniest little bit. So we just moved the apex up very, very slightly on my next makes. So the next one that I made, I wanted to make one out of one of the bright colourful pink fabrics that I've got, and I had a pink ribbing. Now unfortunately you do actually need quite a bit of ribbing to do the waistband, so I thought I will do a version without the waistband and just do the pink ribbing on the cuffs and on the neckband. So I used this lovely bright fabric that I got from the Knitting and Stitching show in Harrogate when I went, and it's Lady McElroy fabric. It's got all these lovely colours and it's like pixelated. I can't remember what the word is that they use, so I'll put it along the bottom if I find it. And it's got pinks and greens in it, and it goes really well with this pink ribbing, I think. Just kind of picks out those colours there, those pinks there. Yeah, so I didn't have enough of this to put the waistband on it. So I made it, and I made it quite long, but it's quite voluminous around my waist. And then I was walking through the door into the back bedroom, and the door handle caught on the fabric and put a little hole in the fabric. So I cut it off above the hole, and it's actually turned out cropped, which actually I think I prefer it. So that was a happy accident that happened. But yeah, I cropped quite a bit off it, and it now just sits just like below my natural waist. And I'm really happy with this one as well. So actually it's good because they don't look similar at all, really, the two tops that I've made. So then I was thinking, yeah, I love this style where it's quite loose fitting on the top, in at the waist, and I thought let's make it into a dress. So I got my favourite dress pattern out. No surprise, it's going to be the Davenport dress by Friday Pattern Company. Now I tend to leave the pockets off. I've had a bit of an issue with the pockets before, with them sticking out a little bit, and especially if you make them in a drapier fabric, they don't seem to lie flat. I thought let's do a mashup of the two patterns, and I feel like it's worked really, really well. And this version that I made is absolutely gorgeous. Now I got this fabric from my lovely friend Jill, so huge thank you to Jill for giving it to me when she came round over Christmas, and she gave me this gorgeous fabric that she got from Beyond the Pink Door, and it was one of their subscription boxes, and it's gorgeous. It wasn't for her, but it's right up my street. And I think you're going to love this. It's a gorgeous fabric. It's paisley, but it's like a big paisley, and if I'd seen this fabric I don't think I would have chosen it. It's got like this browny maroon colour on it, and it's kind of like a camel kind of cream, and red and pink. Now I love the red and pink, but because of the other colours I might have not chosen it because I think it is quite a warm colour and I'm more of a cool colouring, but I think the pink works really well with my colouring, so, and that's one of the dominant colours, and I've gone for the pink again. Now obviously it's not exactly a same match, but I think it tones in quite well with the pink and the red, and gone for, I just had enough of this pink to do the cuff and the neckband, so I've put the drawstring waist in it and the ties. So here's the ties, so you can bring it in at the waist, and then I've not put the ruffle on the bottom. It's just a lengthened skirt. Now it is lengthened quite a bit because the front skirt pieces are quite short because you're supposed to have a ruffle on it, and if I just made it without lengthening the skirt piece I think it'd be a little bit indecent. Especially when you bring it in. You do have to be quite careful with the pattern placement. I've not got a big repeat together. Now I did actually try and recut this skirt because I thought it was my cutting error that the pattern is slightly off. When I went back to the actual fabric, the print is off grain, so it, and by quite a significant amount I think, so it wasn't actually my cutting, it is more of the printing, and it's quite a shifty material, but it actually behaved very well, and I didn't use a microtext on it because I tried sewing it without microtext and it was fine. There was no pulls in it. I was a little bit worried that it might pull quite a bit, and you know, you see the white threads in it, but I didn't have that problem at all. It was, and it's such a lovely, it looks so luxurious, this fabric. It's just so drapey, and so it's got a lovely like quality sheen to it, and I think it could look a bit like a night dress, I think, but I don't think it does. I think because I like how that adds more of a casual look to the dress. Otherwise it could look quite dressy, but I think with the kind of like the t-shirt kind of sweatshirt vibes of this, I think it looks really nice and brings it in at the waist, and just really the perfect dress. So huge thank you to my friend Jill for giving me such a beautiful fabric, and I'm pleased that it didn't get stuck in my stash, that I got it sewn straight away. Now with the success of this dress, I thought I would make myself a bit more of a plain one to wear for work, so I've just gone for a plain black one, and I was feeling slightly inspired by, I'll show you my top that I got from Marks and Spencer's a couple of years ago. This has got a knit neckband on it, ribbing neckband, and ribbing on the cuff, and it's long sleeves, and it's like falls at my high hip, and it's a beautiful quality because that is like sand washed silk, so yeah, it's very luxurious. I got this in the sale with my birthday vouchers 2 years ago I think now, and I really like this top. And actually I posted a picture of me wearing this with my bias cut skirt, and I'll put a picture in, and I got a couple of questions about this top, and so yeah, it is nice. It's a little bit oversized. I did size up with this to my normal size because they only had one in the size above when I went to buy it, but I just could not resist. It's so luxurious, and I thought, oh yeah, I could make myself a dress just like this top. And sorry, this is a bit creased. I did wear this yesterday actually for work, but that means it needs an iron before I wear it again. Yeah, so I was wearing this with a pink shirt underneath actually and a pink cardigan on the top, and I loved it. It's really nice. So it's made out of this Cupro material, which I've got from Rainbow Fabrics. Now it's a little bit creased out. There are actually no puckers in this, even though it might look like it, but obviously we've got the ribbed neckband. So this is one of the ones where I changed the shape of the neckband to sit a little bit more round rather than straight. Again, just the buster moved up by the tiniest little bit, and obviously it has a small bust adjustment, and I compared the length of the body to the one of the Davenport dress that I've already made up according to my size. I've also done a sway back adjustment on it, and with this actually the Cupro towards the selvage, the selvage actually was a lot deeper than I thought it was. The selvage looked like it was only here, but you also had a bit in the fabric quite a bit further in, say like an inch further in, where it had obviously been on the machine and there was all holes in it, and it was just slightly different texture, and I didn't realise when I was cutting it out. So I actually had to take this in a little bit more at the bottom towards the hips than really wanted to after cutting, and I put a basting stitch down one side and tried it on just to check it fit, and it does just fit, and actually it's a really nice fit. So it was absolutely fine, but I only had, I think I just had just over 2 meters of this fabric left. So if the skirt had not fit, this dress probably wouldn't have happened. Finally, I've got one last thing to share with you, and I have shared this on Instagram, so if you're on Instagram you will have seen this, and it was a pair of jeans that I ruined one of the legs because I was putting nail varnish on, and I used that nail varnish where you do 2 layers of colour and 1 layer of a top coat, and while I was doing the top coat the bottle flew off and some of the nail varnish went on the bottom of my jeans. I should have actually thought about using acetone to get it off, but I didn't. I did put them through the wash, and yeah, it was still there. So, and it was quite hard dried in, because at the time I didn't actually realise that any of the nail varnish had actually got on the leg of my jeans. I only realised at a later date. So rather than them go to waste, I've been thinking about this, and actually somebody at a sewing social had turned jeans into a skirt. So I thought I would give that a go, and I just thought, do you know what, I've got nothing to lose. I'm not going to wear these jeans again with the nail varnish down the front. Why don't I try and turn it into a denim skirt? And it did look quite easy when I had a look on YouTube, but it wasn't actually that easy. Now, so I've turned it into a denim mini skirt, and actually I've worn this a couple of times and I really enjoy wearing it. Now, it is a little bit shorter than I intended. Everything tends to turn out a little bit shorter than I intend, and that's because I measured this triangle here while it was flat, and then obviously when it goes around your body, this material is really quite stretchy. It's got a really good stretch to it. You can see there, it gives quite a bit. So yeah, I had it lay down flat to cut this triangle for the front piece. It turned out that I needed it quite a bit bigger than I'd cut it, so it had to move up. So the widest piece was nearer the top. I did wonder whether actually I should put top stitching down this side as well, but I decided not to in the end. I did actually have it so it wasn't sitting flush at the bottom, but then my husband said, oh no, I think it'd look better if it was just straight across at the front. And I actually, when I pinned it up, I agreed. So I had a bit of a play with this, and then I cut out a triangle for the back, but actually I didn't need it. There was just far too much material in there and it needed to be tighter. So that's quite an extreme curve. Yeah, and it's top stitched with similar colour, and I did actually have to unpick quite a bit of that and redo it because I just didn't feel like it looked neat enough. Now if you're looking close it doesn't look that neat, but hopefully nobody's looking that closely at my bottom. And yeah, happy with this little mini skirt. That was just a little refashioning project. And if you fancy a denim skirt, I think you can make them whatever length you want, so don't be just put off by the fact that this is a short one. I know they've been really in trend, probably last year, so I'm probably a couple of seasons out of date. And it's all but been about the maxi and the midi, but I've created a mini. I would definitely try this again. So I hope you've enjoyed me showing you what I've been up to recently. In terms of my next vlog, I'm not sure when that's going to be honest. So I'm just going to give a little bit of a health update on Ben here. If that's not something that you want to listen to, I totally understand, and I'll see you next time. If you do want to have a little bit of an update on what's going on, I'm just going to talk about that now. And I've not mentioned it on my YouTube channel, but I have mentioned it on my Instagram, and that's that Ben has recently been diagnosed with a heart condition, and he's happy for me to tell everybody about it. So yeah, he's got a heart condition and he's probably going to have surgery pretty soon. His ascending aorta is getting bigger and he's at risk of having an aneurysm, and so yeah, he's going to have surgery at some point to fix him. And if you saw our challenge last year, you know that Ben's had bowel cancer, and the thought of going through another operation, it's quite a lot for us both to take it in. And yeah, and being at risk of an aneurysm means that I just want to make sure that I spend quality time with Ben whenever I can. It's been a lot of worry, really, and I hope you can all understand that sometimes I might want to prioritise being with Ben or my own mental well-being rather than vlogging, and that's why sometimes I've been a little bit hit and miss with my vlogs, and I hope you can understand that. So I can't promise when my next vlog's going to be and commit to filming on a regular basis or put a lot of planning or preparation into my videos, and so I just like to do these more relaxed ones where I'm just talking and sharing things with you that I'm up to, and I find them the best for me because I can be more relaxed. And I did try at the end of last year to do a little bit of a comparison between two patterns, and I did quite a bit of prep for it, but in the end it just turned out a bit flat and dry, and I didn't enjoy filming that kind of content. So I just enjoy a bit more of a show and tell and kind of a catch up kind of vlog. So hopefully you're enjoying it, and hopefully you'll stick with me, and I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who watched my Vlogmas, because I know it's a big commitment, and thanks to everybody who supports my channel, who gives me a like and a comment. I do really appreciate it. Thanks for your support as always, and I will see you next time, whenever that may be. Bye for now.